Do you remember the first time that a video game truly blew your mind? I do. It was 4 decades ago on a windswept beach in Walton-on-the-Naze. Now, my sister and I had somehow managed to survive the day without a single argument, which, to be honest, was a statistical anomaly in its own right. However, this resulted in Mum handing us both £1.50 to go and spend in the arcades. And arcades back then weren't just rooms with machines. To me, they were portals. Portals to worlds where I could be a space pilot, a racing driver, or even a pixelated plumber with a questionable moustache. But on that day, something changed. As my sister and I walked in, there it was, Sega Outrun. And to me, this game was a revelation, not just for its graphics, which were jaw-dropping for the time, but for its hydraulic sit-down cabinet that actually moved as I steered. It was immersive, it was cinematic, and just like stepping into a real Ferrari, albeit without the high insurance premiums. My £1.50 got me 3 goes, and that was all I needed to fall in love. The scrolling palm trees, the synth-heavy soundtrack, and my glamorous passenger with her long blonde hair blowing in the wind beside me. And yet, despite memorising every route, every sneaky bend, I've never fully completed this game. That's 40 years of caffeine-fueled determination, rage quits and unlimited credits. And I've still only ever seen 3 of the 5 checkered flags. Now, some of you may be thinking, this is a lovely story, Dan, but what's the point? Others, particularly those on LinkedIn, might be muttering, this isn't Facebook, which is adorable. But I promise there is a point to my story. Because you see, games today have changed, and so has the intelligence behind them. Now, back then, Outrun was a beautifully crafted illusion. The AI, if you could even call it that, was little more than scripted behaviour in which the cars followed fixed paths and obstacles never learned. It was me against the machine, but the machine was linear and predictable. Now, if we fast forward to today, the difference is staggering. Modern games are built on layers of artificial intelligence, not just to control enemies, but to shape the very worlds in which we play. Take The Last of Us, for example. Now, in The Last of Us, enemies don't just run at you like lemmings. They coordinate and flank. They call out your position and adapt to your tactics. And honestly, it feels less like playing against the machine and more like playing against thinking opponents. And of course, it doesn't stop there. AI in games wears many hats, each one transforming the way in which we play. Cities, for example, breathe with life, ecosystems evolve, and weather systems shift dynamically, each ensuring that no two-player journeys are ever quite the same. And of course, there are more subtle roles too, with AI assisting with accessibility and difficulty balancing, somehow managing to keep us in that sweet spot between frustration and boredom. In other words, AI has gone from being a stagehand, moving props around in the background, to becoming the director, the choreographer, and sometimes even the improvised co-star. But where this gets truly transformative is when we realise that games are often testing ground for AI. That same algorithm that lets enemies in Halo coordinate an ambush are cousins of the ones used in robotics, logistics, and even healthcare. Think about it. If you can build an AI that can manage a city of 100,000 virtual pedestrians, you're not a million miles away from simulating traffic in a real city. Or if we can design an AI that adapts to players' behaviour, are we not halfway to designing personalised education systems that adapt to a student's learning style? So when I look back at Outrun, I see more than just a racing game that I've never quite mastered. I see the beginning of a journey, from scripted illusions to adaptive intelligence. Not just palm trees scrolling past my Ferrari, but entire worlds that think, breathe and evolve. And to me, that's the magic of games. They don't just entertain us, they teach us, quietly, playfully, all about the future of intelligence itself.